Food stamps used to be something you wanted to get off of, but the government's new radio ad campaign is telling Americans it's something they should want to get on.
I love taking my grandkids to the park, but if I want to keep up with those little bundles of energy, I have to stay healthy and eat right, and that can be a real challenge. But that's where food stamp benefits come in. They help me eat right when money's tight.
Would you look at Margie? She looks amazing.
Yes, she sure does.
I wonder how she stays so fit. What's her secret?
Well, she told me that food stamp benefits help her eat right, and she stays active, too.
Oh, I didn't know they helped people our age.
Oh, food stamps help lots of people. People you know.
Wait, you use it, too?
Yes, I do.
Well, there you have it. The government's now marketing entitlements. Are you sold? Hi, everybody. I'm Cheryl Casoni. Welcome to Cashin' In. Our Cashin' In crew this week: Wade Rogers, Jonathan Honig, Tracy Burns, John Layfield. Also joining us this week from the Economic Policy Institute, Christian Dorsey. So welcome to all of you. And Tracy, I want to start with you on this one today. Is it good or bad, do you think, that the government is promoting food stamps?
Cheryl, this is such an awful state of affairs. You know, that could have been a commercial for Nutrisystem or something like that, the way they were talking about how fabulous food stamps are. Heck, maybe I should get on them. Look, we've seen almost a 46% increase in food stamp participation since President Obama has taken office. It is awful that we are promoting this notion of continual handouts. Why not promote, I don't know, get out there, get a job, and pay for it yourself? And let's not forget, just because you have food stamps doesn't mean you're going to make good food choices. You can go out and buy candy and birthday cakes with these things, too, you know.
You know, Wayne, to her point about the fact that many more Americans are now on food stamps, if you look at the numbers here, Wayne, up 45% from January of 2009 to December. So there's a huge increase right now in the amount of Americans on these. Are we going in the wrong direction here?
Well, you talk about an increase. The increase started in 2007. We spent $33 billion on food stamps. In 2011, that number was $75 billion. You know, I looked it up on the internet what food stamps are, and when I looked up SNAP, that's this program, you know, for nutrition, as it were. I looked it up on the internet, and what you see is SNAP has to do with rescuing dogs and cats in Houston, Texas. It makes about as much sense. So I'm not sure where all these catchy phrases come from and why they are promoting it and why. The most outrageous point is they're taking taxpayer money and spending it to advertise a program where they're giving away taxpayer money. I don't get that. That's the government gone berserk.
You know, Christian, to Wayne's point, we're advertising when we've already got 46 million people on food stamps.
Well, hopefully this is destigmatizing something that doesn't need to be stigmatized at all. In order to get food stamp benefits, you have to be working or looking for work. You have to be a dependent child, or you're elderly or disabled. None of those are shameful circumstances. The reason we've spent so much more on food stamps is because we had a really big recession where we increased poverty. That's the only reason. You know, the fact is, this is a really efficient program. Low administrative costs, that money goes to people in need. They spend the money at private businesses, and that spending multiplies by at least 50% in economic activity.
Jonathan, it's a $75.3 billion program. Christian mentioned cost.
Yeah,
it's huge.
Well, and a lot of it, as has been well documented, goes to fraud. And Christian, you mentioned that it goes to people in need. I think that's inherently the problem. Government is not a charity. And we're talking about what I've read is an average of $140 a month per recipient that has essentially found money, to Wayne's point, that gets taken from some citizens who've earned it and given it to other citizens who've not. And I tell you, the ads really irk me, Cheryl, because they essentially legitimize the welfare state. They say, no, it's okay for the government not only just to buy your food, but to tell you what to eat. It's pathetic.
John Layfield, you're one of the healthiest guys I know. I mean, maybe that's a great diet plan for all of us to go on food stamps.
I certainly hope not. I have to agree with the soon-to-be new father, Christian Dorsey. Congratulations, by the way, Christian.
Thanks, John.
But
Thank you.
The problem we have is this is right along poverty lines. Look, you've had 32 million people go to about 46 million people just in the last 2 years. That is right along poverty lines. And Jonathan is right about fraud. I agree with Mayor Bloomberg. You need a fingerprint printing. You need to give them IDs. You can't spin this for sugary drinks because
John,
that creates. Wait a minute, Jonathan.
Yeah.
I won't take the place of Wayne until you let me finish. You don't need to spend something, and that's going to cost healthcare costs down the line. These people have nothing else to eat if you don't give them this. The problem is that many people are in poverty, not the fact that these people don't have that many.
John, the facts don't reflect that. Look at Mississippi, John. They've got 1 in 5 people there are on food stamps. It's the fattest state in the nation 6 years running. Now, I'm not taking away anything from Mississippi. But it's not away from anything from Mississippi. But don't tell me that we need food stamps to alleviate poverty when we have an obesity problem in this country.
I'm not saying, wait a minute, Jonathan, I'm not saying it alleviates poverty. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying the government does nothing for poverty. We're just simply throwing money at this system so people have something to eat, so that we don't have riots. That's why we extend long-term unemployment benefits, so we don't end up with something like Greece. We're not dealing with poverty.
But here's the thing, Cheryl. Look, I understand this. We have to feed the people that need to be fed. But under the Obama administration, the rules have lessened. They've made it easier to qualify. So yes, you can blame the recession for a piece of this, but you can't blame it for all of it, Cheryl, because the rules have lessened. So more people fall into the welfare net. That is what's so awful about this.
You know, Wayne, when you look at the waste and fraud, and there's waste and fraud in many government programs, not just the food stamp program. Obviously, there are Americans that need help. They need assistance. But to those that are taking advantage of the system, are we doing enough to deal with those folks?
Well, let me read you a couple of statistics here, which are interesting. It says, first of all, I love this line. This is the Food and Drug Administration. They say, it takes seriously its responsibility to make sure that only those families who are actually eligible for the program participate. That begs the question, do they not take it responsibility at all? I mean, why would they make a statement like that? They say they've reduced improper payments by $2.7 billion. Reduced improper payments by $2.7 billion. They have had $1.3 billion in delinquent recipient claims since 19. I mean, it's outrageous. The whole thing is it's another federally debacle where they don't know what they're doing, spending money crazily without any accountability.
But Christian, the one thing that's changed, though, I think we can all agree on this, is that the stigma of food stamps has changed, frankly, because you do have 8.3% unemployment. You have had a horrible recession and a down economy. That has changed in this country, but do we need to kind of right the ship now?
No, but sure, you mentioned it right there. If we don't have such high rates of unemployment, people looking for work, and if we reduce poverty, you don't have all of these people receiving SNAP benefits, and you're not spending all of this money. The solution is more jobs, more robust labor activity. And Wayne, if you read the end of that report, you would see that the food stamp program has among the lowest rates of error of any government program in the history of government programs. So it's extremely efficient and effective.
But all due respect, I know that, Christian, but you're starting out with such an abysmal data system that where the government is spending out of control.
And that's again because they changed the rules. It's again because they changed the rules that allow. It's again because they changed the rules that allow more people in it. That's why they were able to bump up their fraud numbers. They're fudging the numbers, Christian.
Jonathan, though, let me real quick before I let you go. Jonathan, here's the point. Jonathan, people need help. People need help in this country. At the same time, do we want them to be dependent on this program long term?
Cheryl, if you think that people need help, you should help them. I help people all the time. I know our panel helps people all the time. That's not the role of the federal government. The role of the federal government is to protect your rights to help those people who you think are needy. They should stick to that and let the rest fall by, do as it will.
All right, guys. Great discussion.